Hello and welcome to Family Matters. Thank you so much for joining us. On this program, we deal with issues that affect families and individuals. And today, we're talking about how to cope with grief. To help me deal with this issue, I have Liz and Mike. Welcome.
Thank you.
Liz, how do you define grief?
Many people have their own way of defining grief. But I just want to say, in simple terms, grief is deep seated emotional and psychological pain that one suffers after the loss of a loved one or something that they treasure, or after losing a job or even pets. People go through that deep seated pain, which, if there is no intervention to help them, they may go through other related illnesses because of that grief.
Right. And Mike, or Liz, you can answer this as well. How does grief manifest itself?
Maybe before we even go to how it manifests itself, grief can also come because you've been divorced.
Okay.
There is death, there's less loss of a job. And in many times, you find people take so much time to just try and help the one who have lost a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't care about the one who have lost a pet. Because pets, it's like their animal, why bother?
Right.
And sometimes they don't even pay much attention to someone who has lost something that they treasure. It could be maybe in an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Someone loses the car that they've saved their money to buy for the rest of their wages. Maybe in the past 4 years, they've been saving to buy a car. And within a short time, they buy that car and boom, it's an off, what do you call it? Write off.
Right off, yes.
In an accident. So all these people, their pain, their grief needs attention, because grief is not limited to the death of a person only.
Actually, what you're saying is very important, but it is true that for myself as well, when I hear the word grief, you automatically I just think about death and nothing else, but it is anything that's precious to you. So, how does grief manifest itself, Mike?
Um, Maybe I can give a personal experience. I lost my car in Botswana to some accident. And I was driving along with my friends that visited us from South Africa. And we were going to have dinner somewhere. And as we were going there at some traffic section, we had a head-on collision. At that point, I just don't know. I just went the lights off. I could not imagine that I could invite friends from South Africa, just because at that point I did not know what had happened behind, because they were seated behind. I did not know whether they are alive or whether they are dead. But the idea that I caused this simply caused me to be just shocked, helpless, and seated there, going through some immense guilt that look at what I've done.
Yeah.
So grief can manifest itself also in terms of this excruciating guilt that I've caused this loss.
Right.
It can also manifest itself in terms of deep sorrow, which you may not be able to really explain to someone.
Yeah.
But you are so sorrowful, there's nothing around you that makes you feel happy. You are like put in a very cold room where everything around you is just chilly and it's cold. And that sorrow can really lead you into also very, very deep emotional stress. Remember, this can be also a process.
Mm-hmm.
From the sorrow, you may go to stress. From stress, if it's not addressed or managed, you can end up getting into very deep depression. Yeah.
Mike?
Grief can also manifest itself in the form of deep hopelessness. You know, you have just lost your husband or wife to some accident, or you are at school and your fees dependent on your father, and the next thing you hear is he is gone. At that point, it's like the whole future of you is gone. Yes, and then you go into this state of hopelessness. You can't, for a moment, you can't see the future.
Right.
Yes.
It can also manifest itself through anger,
Yes.
where someone is very angry with themselves. And depending maybe also with the relationship that was there with this person who might have died, if it is in case of death, they may be feeling so angry that how could you do this to me? You can't leave me in such a state. For example, I had a situation in my sessions with one of a lady who was left pregnant. They'd just discovered that she was some few weeks pregnant,
Right.
and they were so happy celebrating together.
Mhm.
Little did she know that the husband was having an affair. And the husband went out, took a girlfriend, and went out driving. And on their way to wherever they were going, the husband was involved in an accident and he died. Both the husband and the girlfriend, they died. And this wife now, to come to realize that this is what her husband was doing, it brought so much pain and anger in her that how could he do this to me?
Mm. You know, when you talk about anger, this is may sound a bit funny or a bit silly, but it's also possible to be angry at somebody who is very innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know when my brother lost his baby, the baby was born and died about 6 hours later, and when I got home, they had just buried the child, but I got home and found a home full of despair and tears, and I was angry at the baby. So I said, how do you do this? How do you come out for just 6 hours and then
Mm.
decide to go? Why didn't you give us a chance?
Yeah.
Give me a chance to be an aunt
True.
to you.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like I could open that grave and say,
Yeah.
come out. That's
Yeah.
how and I'd never experienced that ever
It's
in my
true.
life. I cried, but in anger. I didn't understand why that
Yes.
happened. So that's,
That's very
very
true.
possible what you're
Mhm.
saying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it can also lead, grief can lead to people taking their lives.
Of course.
Have you ever noticed that while you are at a gravesite,
Mhm.
someone cries so deeply they want to throw themselves
Into the
right into the
grave.
grave?
Yes.
They want to die together with this dead person. And they contemplate it. If no one really pays attention to them, they may even kill themselves. My niece, at the gravesite of my sister when she passed away and we were burying her, my sister, my niece wanted to run into the house to grab a knife. And Mike and myself, we battled with my niece to say, hold yourself together. I actually was now angry with her that,
Mm.
do you think you're the only one who has lost?
Yeah.
The words that we are not supposed to actually
To
use.
say, yeah.
But I said it because I was very angry with her, and I was also angry that my sister is gone.
Yes.
So people can contemplate suicide and they can actually do it
And carry
if
it
no
out.
one watches around, especially during the funeral day.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a very devastating thing.
Sure.
Yes.
Mike?
And I think some people can actually be emotionally and physically incapacitated,
Mm.
where you are kind of just held and you can't do anything because of this emotion. You can't believe that this thing has happened.
Mm.
Yes.
Yes. Anything else? Liz?
Grief can manifest itself by being talkative.
Right.
Have you ever noticed that someone can be just talking a lot and they can't keep quiet, they keep talking, and if you try to listen as to what they are saying, sometimes it doesn't coordinate,
Yeah.
it's not coherent, it doesn't make full sense what they are saying. They're just bringing out these words and they keep doing it without them realizing that they're just talking and they're talking nothing.
Mm.
So it's a manifestation of grief, and when someone gets that grief, they are so stressed that they talk a lot.
Yeah. But not clearly to say exactly what they're trying
Yes,
to say.
yes.
Do you have anything else, Mike, to add to that?
Yes, I think the other thing is that some people may lose appetite altogether for days. You may have to force them to just eat a morsel to say, please, you need some energy. We know you have lost, but why don't you just take a drink, take a sip, take something little to keep your energy going? They have no interest in eating. They have no interest in anything. They have just lost the pleasure of life altogether.
The flip side would be the emotional eating,
Yeah.
because there's two ways to eat. Others lose appetite. Others just want to find comfort in that as well.
Others actually get sick,
Uh-huh.
terrible headaches,
Mm-hmm.
such that it is emotional pain manifesting itself in terms of headache and even physical pain. You may ask them, where is it really painful? How are you really feeling? They will just say the whole body.
Yes, because they don't really can't pinpoint.
Yeah, because it's emotionally related.
Mm.
So the whole body feels these aches
Mm.
within them, and they can't say, this is what I'm going through.
Right. Mike?
Yeah, I don't know. I need to check with Liz because she's the one who's done psychology.
Mm.
But I have a feeling that we could have latent grief that does not manifest itself. The person has lost, but it appears like, this person is not weeping. This
Of
person
course.
still feels very comfortable, but they've lost a full time. I feel there's a grief that goes unnoticed, even to the person who has lost, and which may manifest itself maybe a little later or in other situations. But maybe in the immediate, they may not quite feel it because they are busy with that. And I noticed when we were burying my mother, I was busy with logistics as the elder son. You make sure there's a bus, people are eating and whatever. For some time, I did not pay attention to what is happening. Hey, wait, when I went back to Swaziland,
Yeah.
because my mother died when we were together in Swaziland.
Right.
When I was in that house and she was in Australia, I was alone in that house. I began to realize, hey, I've lost my mother here.
It clicked finally.
Yeah, finally. But when we were burying, I was the strongest. I was the organizer. Do this, do that, do that. But later, when everybody now is gone and I'm by myself, I realized, okay, I've lost my mother here.
Yes.
Yes.
It's true. What I want to say from the example that he has given, obligations sometimes cause you to have what is known as belated grief.
Yes.
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 You were not given an opportunity
Hey.
because of the duties that you were carrying.
Yes.
And others, even though they may not have any duty that they are carrying, they want to portray this picture that they are very strong, yet inside them they are dying.
Mm.
And it's also very important for us to realize that people grieve differently.
Yes.
And in grieving, people are related, who are related to this person, they grieve also differently.
Exactly.
The closer you were with this person, maybe the deeper the pain that you may also feel. And some other situations and circumstances that other people may not know may contribute in the way a person grieves. When I was doing my first degree in psychology, I took a research on how widows fulfill their sexual urges. And as I was taking that research, there were some other ladies who were saying, when my husband died, I celebrated in my heart. I could not show it publicly, but I was so happy that finally I am free from this person, because this person was abusing me day and night.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I am just giving a tip of how people grieve differently.
Yeah.
This one's grief, they are sort of happy that I'm finally out. This lady who was saying so, it's because they didn't make a choice to be married by this man. It was their culture that they will be given into marriage. And she was given to this old one-tooth aged man. And the girl never liked that man. So when he died, she celebrated free at last. So all I'm trying to say is circumstances behind the death of someone or behind the loss of someone determine.
Sure. I think at this point, Mike, I know you're itching to say
Yeah.
something, but we'll just go to a break.
Yes,
Then we'll
thank
deal more with this after we come back.
Yes.
Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Family Matters, and today we're looking at how to cope with grief. Mike, before the break, we're just looking at some instances of how people go through the grief, and you're about to say something, so you're itching there.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I was trying to celebrate what Liz was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not always the case that people have to grieve.
Right.
There are people who lose full time and will not even have a sense of that loss. It will not affect them in any way. While society will have their stereotypes of he must grieve, she must grieve. But the way they are processing this loss is quite different from our stereotypical response to this kind of thing and what
Mhm.
have you. And another case could be a society, when somebody miscarries, then they feel like there's no need to grieve. You get, they may not even send condolences to you because to them, this child was not a full term, and after all,
Yeah.
she was not yet born, and yet the person is going through a lot of
Mm.
grief because
Yeah.
to them they have lost something. But some people feel like you don't have to grieve over that because the child was not full term yet.
Yes.
You see.
Actually, I know of a gentleman who lost a family member in a very brutal way. So we went to see them, and when we got there, he was the one who was comforting the visitors coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we all, I mean, we didn't know how to react to
Yeah.
it because we had gone to comfort him, but he was in a seemed in a positive
Mm-hmm.
space, positive in because I don't know if it was,
Yeah.
but we didn't know how to react to this thing because we said, but you just lost somebody so dear.
Yeah.
Why are you not crying? But that's our stereotype way of thinking to say if you're
Yeah.
grieving, you should be crying, you must be sad, and
Exactly.
but
that's
people
very
are
true.
different.
That's
So,
very true.
Liz, how then can we help a family member who is grieving either loss of someone by death or loss of something precious, loss of a job, or how can we help them?
Just like you were saying just now that
Mm.
you didn't know how to help this person.
Yes,
Sometimes it pays to just listen
right.
to these people, where you go there with no intention to tell them how to grieve, because you don't know their
Yes.
circumstances. You don't understand what they've been going through.
Mhm.
Maybe this person has been very sick for a long time, and the whole family was just waiting to say, why can't this person rest than what they are going through?
Right.
And then you come, you want to say, grieve.
Mm.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So sometimes just going there and listening to hear what this person says
Mm.
and giving them space if they are not yet ready to talk about it. Don't
Mhm.
push them
Yes.
to talk about it.
Yes. Mike.
Yes. I was in Harare at a hospital, and my father was dying, and we could feel that this man is going,
Mm.
and surely he was going. So my sister and I started weeping and crying relentlessly. And then there was this elder who came to us with so much love and care and says, Pastor, you are a man. Be strong. If you become weak like this, what about your brothers?
Mm.
And I said, Elder, I don't know how to spell the word be strong.
Yeah.
I don't know what being strong means when my father is dying like this. So sometimes let us allow people to go through the grief process.
Mm.
This idea of being strong, be what, and it does not quite make sense
Mm.
to a person who is losing somebody who is so significant to their lives.
Mm.
Yes.
No, just on a lighter side, I heard the story of a pastor who used to preach a lot during funerals.
Yeah.
And you'd tell them, be strong, have
Yes.
hope,
Yeah.
until one day his own family member passed away, and the church members went to see him, and he was lying on the ground crying.
Look at that.
And they said, Pastor, but aren't you the same person who told us that we must have hope? Then he
Yeah.
says, I had not experienced this thing yet. It's not
Look at
easy to go through it. So people do define the way that they deal with grief.
So basically, don't tell people, I understand this.
Yeah.
What do you know if you have never lost a wife?
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
never lost a child. You never lost a parent. How do you tell us? What do you understand?
Understand, yes.
And
Yes.
maybe even if you have lost a son,
Mm.
your experiences are
They're
different.
different.
Yes.
You
yes.
may
Thank you
only
for
have
that, yeah.
lost your husbands, but the unity that you had, the bonding that you
Yeah,
had, the
yeah.
things that you were doing with your husbands, they differ. Like
Mhm.
I've just given you from my research,
Yes.
someone was actually celebrating.
Sure, yeah.
So you cannot try to compare anyone's death
Yeah.
with the death that is there, or
Exactly.
anyone's divorce with your divorce, or anyone's loss of their pet with your loss of your pet.
Yes.
And
Unique.
try to sort of, because by comparing or telling them to behave in a certain manner, you might be belittling the extensiveness of what they are going through, or you may be trying to exaggerate
Right.
the way the person may want to
Exactly,
really
yeah.
go through their pain.
Yes.
And remember, there is a process. Mike has just said, I said, allow these people to go through
Yes.
grief
Yes.
process.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a process.
Yes.
And this process, just for authenticity, you need to know that it was developed by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross
Right.
in 1969.
Right.
This is Elizabeth Kubler-Ross,
Your namesake.
my namesake. But instead of a Z, he has
The
an S.
Okay.
She's the one who developed these 5 stages of grief process. The grief process is normally followed by so many people, but there are some exceptional cases where they don't follow that process.
Right.
She says the first thing that a person is allowed to go through, they go through denial,
Right.
where they are saying, no, it's not true. This person is, it can't be. Even if they knew that the person was sick, they were having this sort of a hope that I think maybe the person is going to make it. But all of a sudden the person dies. And they will say to the medical persons who are there, it's not true. I left him yesterday eating. I can't believe it. And then they also, it's combined with isolation. When that happens, they become so isolated.
Yes.
They want to be to themselves. They don't even want the loved ones who have come to say, I'm sorry, to say anything much. They just want to be left alone. Then from that first stage, they go to anger. They express their anger. Why has it happened?
Yes.
Why at this time? Why me? And where was God? All those questions that come through the anger that they are going through. And the third process is they start bargaining. This is where they are asking themselves, if only I had, I think, done this. This bargain, it has some guilty in it.
Right.
Guilty feelings. Maybe if we had tried this other doctor, or maybe if I had quickly done this, or maybe if I have just stopped before getting into the traffic light, maybe if I had not left my pet without being attended to, my dog could be alive. All those, they are now bargaining how the thing happens and trying to come to terms with it. And then from there, reality dawns that for surely I am now alone.
Right.
Yes. This person is
This
gone.
person is gone, and they get into depression.
Yeah.
Right.
Why? What am I going to do?
Mm.
Future is so bleak for them.
Yeah.
No matter that they have everything, no matter that they are highly qualified professionals, such time comes, depression. Then from depression, through help and everything, they then come to acceptance of reality.
Yes.
It's done. Let me put a closure to it. And then they can move on. But remember, this process can be backward and forward,
Right.
because life is not just smooth going.
Yes.
So this is the grief process that Mike was talking
Yes.
about.
Yes.
Yes.
Mike, any other additions?
Yes. This is why I'm saying, let us allow people to process their grief, allow them to go through their shock,
Right.
their denial, allow them to if they want isolation, like she's saying, for some time they want to be left alone. Leave them alone. When I lost my mother, I think I went into this. I'm a people's person. I enjoy interacting with people. But for some time, I did not like people around me, because why? I have to do the explanation. This is how she died. This is what happened. This is what. So I needed to be left alone just to go through this, and I'm sure I could agree that there were times when definitely I was part of depression. I was depressed and whatever. Then you finally get to a point where you have to resolve the loss and say, well, my mother is gone, and this is it.
And I
Yes.
think the other way you can help this person cope, help them to talk about their loss.
Of course.
And when you are talking about their loss, don't avoid to mention the name of the thing that they've lost or the person that they've lost.
Right.
Some people will come and say, I'm so sorry about your loss. And they just leave it as like your loss. It doesn't really help this person to come to terms in a manner that they would do if you say, I'm sorry for the loss of Maya.
Right.
If they were in denial, you are helping them to reinforce that Maya is gone.
Right.
And it can help them come to terms
Right.
better than just say, I am sorry, and you don't mention anything.
Maya is our little cat.
Oh,
Yeah.
so this
Yeah.
is now. Are you go? That's funny.
And,
Yeah.
and the other thing that also can help is
yes.
don't go with solutions.
Mm.
Yeah.
Don't tell people how to grieve.
Mm.
Yeah.
Allow them to grieve their way.
Right.
If they want to cry, let them cry.
Mm.
And you can even cry together with them
Mhm.
because you are not pretending.
Mm.
A loss has been experienced.
Yes.
Right.
And tears are a language God
That
understands.
God understands. Yes.
And tears also are therapeutic.
yes.
They help take out those salts, that adrenaline which is in you.
Mm.
It's cleansed by your tears.
Yes.
And let's not stop people from expressing their feelings and wanting them to express what we want because
Yes.
we are different.
Mike, in 30 seconds, your final word to that one viewer who perhaps is going through grief right now of some nature. What words of encouragement should you leave them with briefly?
My point is God has a plan for every one of us. A plan not to harm us, but to give us our desired end. Even if you lose a job, you lose a house, you lose a spouse, you lose anything, that does not mean God's plan in your life is over. God is greater than our problems. If we invest our confidence and trust in Him, we'll have a brighter and greater future after our loss.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. And I hope that some of our viewers perhaps have benefited from this if they're going through this process of grieving. Unfortunately, our time has come to an end, but I hope that you have been blessed by the message today. If you have any comments or any questions, please feel free to contact Elizabeth and Mike on the details that are on the screen right now, and they'll get back to you as soon as possible. Until next time, goodbye and God bless.